Alright, as soon as we get all the way out here onto the track, we're going to come all the way out. Let me make sure we're good. Alright, so we're going to come all the way around the bend nice and steady. Same thing as before, we're going to come all the way out. We're going to get past that green apex cone, and we'll start to roll on that power nice and steady all the way out. And we'll roll on that power, letting the car start to track back out over to my side. And we'll lift off that gas, back to those brakes. Wait for your next turn and come, bring it back in over to the left, nice and steady. We'll come all the way around the bend, nice and steady over to the left. We're going to keep our eyes up, looking all the way around the bend, and we'll roll on that power as we come out. Let it start to come back over to the left-hand side. We're going to touch those brakes, a little bit more brakes, wait for that turning cone. Now we'll bring it back in over to the right, nice and steady. We're going to go apex to apex, nice and smooth. And we're going to roll on that power as we come down the straightaway, nice and easy. Keep on rolling all the way down. Back down onto those brakes, wait for that next turning cone, wait for that turning cone. And now we're going to gently bring the car back in over to the right, nice and steady. We're going to go apex to apex, nice and smooth. We're going to bring it back over to the left. Wait for your turning cone. We're going to gently bring it back in over to the right. And now we're going to roll on that power all the way down the straightaway, nice and smooth. And we'll keep on going all the way down. And as we go, lift off that gas and back to those brakes. Big brakes, harder, more brakes for me, more brakes. There you go. Wait for your next turning cone. We're going to bring it back in over to the right, nice and steady. He's going to let us by after this corner, so we'll stick up here with him. We're going to go apex to apex, nice and smooth. We're going to pass this green apex cone, nice and steady. Now he's going to let us by, so we're going to wait for the point by, wait for the point by. Now we'll go ahead and pass him on the left-hand side, nice and smooth. Now we'll bring it back over to the right, and we're going to lift off that gas and take brakes through here. More brakes, more brakes. Don't be afraid of them. This car takes a lot of brake pressure to slow it down, so don't be afraid to really hit that pedal. Bring it back in over to the right, nice and steady. And now we're going to gently roll on that power all the way down the straightaway. Bring it back in over to the left. Roll on that power all the way down. And lift back to those brakes, more brakes, more brakes. You're not going to upset me by hitting the brakes in this car. We're bringing it around the bend nice and smooth. All the way out. Wait for your second apex cone. And now we're going to gently roll on that power apex to apex, nice and steady. Now what we're going to do is we're going to lift off that gas back to those brakes, big brakes. We'll bring it back in over to the right, nice and steady. We're going to go apex to apex, nice and smooth. And now we're going to gently roll on that power as we come out of the bend. Now we're going to lift back to those brakes, a little bit more brakes. Wait for it, wait for it. Now we'll bring it back in over to the right. We're just going to go apex to apex, nice and steady. We'll gently bring it back in over to the left. A quick touch of those brakes, gently bring it back into the right. And now at the end of the straightaway, we're going to get on those brakes hard, all right? Don't be afraid to really get on them. It takes a lot of pedal pressure to slow it down. We'll keep on going nice and steady. Back over here to the yellow cone. And as we go, we're going to lift off that gas, back to those brakes. Harder brakes, more brakes, more brakes. There you go. You really got to get on them to get this car to roll up. Wait for that turning cone. Now we'll bring it in nice and steady. We'll keep our eyes up, looking all the way around that bend. Keep your eyes up, looking all the way down to your next set of apex cones. And now we're going to roll on that power all the way over to the left. And roll on that power all the way down. And we're going to lift off the gas, back to the brakes. Wait for your turning cone, wait for your turning cone. Bring it back in over to the left, nice and steady. We're going to gently bring it back in over to the right. And roll on that power all the way down. Nice and steady around the bend, let the car start to track out. Lift back to those brakes, wait for your cone, wait for your cone. Now we're going to bring it back in over to the left, keeping our eyes up, looking all the way through the bend, nice and steady. Pass that green apex cone and roll on that power as we come out of the bend. Let the car track out, nice and smooth. Back to those brakes, wait for the cone, a little bit more brakes. We'll bring it back in over to the right. We're going to carry that speed all the way around that bend. And roll on that power all the way down nice and steady. Lift off that gas, back to those brakes. Wait for that cone, wait for that cone. Now we'll bring it back in over to the right. Wait, we're going to go apex to apex, nice and steady. Wait for that turning cone, wait for it, and now we'll bring it back in over to the right. Then again, we'll get real hard on those brakes once we get to those yellow cones. Carry that speed all the way down. And now what we're going to do is we're going to get ready to lift. And back to those brakes, big brakes all the way down. Wait for your turning cone. And now we're going to go ahead and over here into pit lane, in between these two blue cones right over here. What do you think of the McLaren, my man?
Could do that all day.
Good.